But let's get to the main lead melody, which is an essential part of the song. And I'm pretty proud of this melody actually and how it sounds. So let's go to pattern 17 and play it on its own. This melody sound is actually from Silent Fright Lesson. Really bright, really kind of screechy sound almost. So let's play it. So as you can hear, it has tons of character, tons of brightness, just cuts through the mix like crazy. As you can see here, it has a lot of different effects here that I use just through silent. I like the sound. I took the reverb off, and I'll show you why later, but has everything you would think. Delay, EQ, chorus, phaser, distortion, compression. Let's take a look at it here. I put in even more compression here using OTT, some extra distortion using FabFilter's Saturn, and then, of course, some extra delay, and I used a dedicated keys reverb, which is important because I actually had a backup keys, and let's just hear how that sounds on its own. It's really meant to kind of be a complement here. This is not necessarily a great sound on its own. As you can see, it's just a basic saw wave here. There's nothing to it. Let's hear it. I mean, terrible sound, but it adds a little bit of depth to it, and I really wanted to layer it. So let's hear them both together. So you can hear how they complement each other really nicely, I think. One adds just a little bit of depth, while the other one really has that high-end kind of resonance to it. Let's just take a look at how I process them a little bit. The EQ here is important. Since it's a lead sound, I don't need a lot of low end. I cut out everything basically below 264 here, and on the backup, I cut basically everything below 424. I felt like if I cut out more of the low end, it started to really sound really tinny, so I kept in a little bit of it. Not that it has too much of low end anyway. And a big thing is I like to sidechain my leads to different synths, as you can see here, just so it kind of gets out of the way sometimes. You don't want them clashing too much, and I feel like the lead keys really come through nicely. Real quickly here, I don't want to dwell too much on this actual particular patch, but as you can see, the resonance is way up, and it's really just about the saw waves here, and then a little bit of sine waves on here in part A. So there's quite a bit going on. The great thing about Silent is, of course, you can use these 4 different oscillators plus noise. Silent One is a great synthwave VST. I highly recommend it. It simply can do a little bit more, and it sounds a little bit more analog at times too than Serum. Of course, it has its limitations as well, but for synthwave, I love it. So as you can see, I have it pretty open here in terms of the cutoff. The LFO doesn't do a ton. It does add a little bit to the pitch, but it's really about that brightness. I felt like I needed something that could really cut through the mix, and it's really there, I think.